It's just weird. It's just weird not knowing what you look like sometimes. Hey guys, it's Molly here again for another video, and today I'm answering a very, very, very commonly asked question, both here on the social medias and in real life. I swear I have answered this question like 5 times in the past 3 days, like in person, where people that I've like recently met here in LA at events or wherever it might be, at a friend's house, whatever I'm up to, like this is like the question they ask me. And I'm like, wow, I should probably like sit down and make a video about that since it's such a commonly asked question. So that's what we're doing here today. So get ready, get yourself a cup of tea, because we know how much Molly loves to ramble on and talk for excessive amounts of time to answer questions that could be answered in 3 minutes or less. Let's do this. First off, the oh so important disclaimers and background information. So if you want to skip this, I'm sure somebody will leave a time code down below to like when the real content starts, so you can like click that in somebody's comments. Disclaimer number 1, I have never been fully sighted, but I was much more sighted than I am now up until the age of 14, and I am now currently 24 years old. Just had my birthday, February 8th. Happy birthday to me. So it's been 10 years of what I see now pretty much, and then before then I had like significantly more sight, but never 20/20, what like most average sighted people would have. The second disclaimer is if you're like an OG, you've binge watched me, which I highly recommend doing, and I also highly recommend not skipping the ads when you do binge watch. Just little tip. So if you've watched a lot of my videos, you've probably heard me talk about some of these things in the past. I feel like probably everything I'm going to talk about in this video has been mentioned in separate videos at some point, but I've never made like a concise video where I talk about all of it, everything to do with my physical appearance and all of that kind of stuff in one sit-down video. So you might have heard tidbits of what I'm talking about today in past videos, but you've never like seen it all put together like I am doing here today, or at least I don't think so. I don't know. There's like, I think over 300 videos on this channel, so maybe I'm just redoing a video I've done in the past. I don't know. Another disclaimer is I am not making this video like begging you for compliments, seeking your validation. I work on the internet. I post on social media all the time. Whether I ask for it or not, I get plenty of comments on my physical appearance, both for the good and the bad. You know, I've been told it all. The good, the bad, and the ugly about your opinions on how I look. And so this is not me like seeking your approval or for you to like tell me what you think of how I look. In fact, like let's try to avoid those comments because I get them enough to begin with. So that's not the purpose of why I'm making this video. I am dedicated to trying to educate people and trying to help people understand me. And the reality is I'm a blind person living in a world where the majority is sighted, which means I live in a world that doesn't understand me. Naturally, that makes sense. You don't understand my life because it is so foreign to what you live every day and what most of the people you know and interact with live with. I am dedicated. That's, you know, why I make videos. That's why I'm a motivational speaker, because I want to help people understand. I realized a long time ago that I cannot be angry at society for being ignorant towards my life if I'm not willing to stand up and do something about it and actually actively educate people. So I'm going to be making a lot of analogies that I've come up with. I'm going to be trying to draw like connections between relatable experiences that you might have had in an attempt to help educate you and to give you a tangible way of understanding my life, my thoughts, my feelings, and what I'm trying to talk about here today. So I feel like that's like all the disclaimers and explanation and background info that you need to know before we now finally start, just get to the beginning of answering the very complicated question of, do you know what you look like? If I give an easy answer, it's no, I don't. But there is like a lot of deeper information that goes into answering it, because it's a larger question than just, do you know what you look like? Most people assume that I could see until I was 14. I therefore should know what I look like, or at least what 14-year-old Molly looked like, because of course in the past 10 years I've changed a lot. Here's a photo of 14-year-old Molly right here. We can all cringe. She was a little scene emo girl. Very different than who I am now with like my pink fluffy pillows and my glittery cat that I don't know if you guys can see, but like I'm very different in my style, my aesthetic, my appearance, of course, as most of us are. with like a 10-year span, especially through like puberty and adolescence. People think I should like know what I used to look like. But number one, you need to know visual memory doesn't really last. I cannot recall the color red in my head. I can't recall images of my family or myself or photos or anything. Like, it just doesn't happen for me. It doesn't work like that. My brain isn't being reminded of it, and therefore it's just lost it. It's just gone off to sea somewhere. Somebody go find that treasure. Because there's a whole lot of images locked away in that treasure chest. We should find that. So they're gone, long gone. Even if I was able to recall that image of 14-year-old Molly, it is, again, like not what I probably look like now, which is a good thing, I would say. Another thing is people are like, well, you should know what you look like because I'm sure like people tell you. And yes, people do tell me what I look like. As I said, I get plenty of comments on what I look like. But the way I explain that is I'm reading the book, you're watching the movie. I am reading Harry Potter, you're watching it. I am reading Twilight, which I've never read before, you're watching it, also never watched it. And I'm sure if you can think back to the first time you read Harry Potter or whatever the book, like insert relatable book that you've read and then watch movie here. I'm sure when you read it and you like listened to the description of Harry Potter or Dumbledore or Hermione, you like conjured up this image in your head of what you thought they looked like, and then you went and saw the movie and you might have been like, hey, I was so accurate. Or you might be like, wait a second, Daniel Radcliffe looks nothing like Harry Potter looked in my head. That's not right. And so my life is like, I hear the description and I never get to watch the movie. I might be accurate and I might not, but we don't really know. And I'm not really conjuring up like images of real life people in my head because like I said, I can't really pull together visual images, which I know is very hard to conceptualize because you do it without trying. I know that I have long dark hair and it's straight. I know that I have freckles. I have no idea what freckles look like though. I just picture them as like brown blotches all over my skin. It's not very, how I picture it is like not very cute. I know I have light colored eyes. I know that I'm short and I know I have really fair skin. And that's I'd say like what I know of myself. That's me. And the reality is if you line up 10 girls with that exact description, we all look completely different. You could line up 10 girls who are 4'10.5", who have long, straight, dark brown hair, who have light green, blue, gray eyes, freckles, whatever. And all of us look completely different. And I don't know which one of those girls I am because I don't get to look in the mirror. As a 24-year-old girl that loves makeup and loves fashion and grows up in a society that it is very visual and can be very looks-based, looks like oriented around looks. I don't know what I know what I'm trying to say, but I can't think of the phrase I'm looking for right now. Very superficial. It can be really hard not to see yourself as a young woman. It definitely can. And especially as I get older, like I just turned 24 and I'm already like, oh my God, do I have like fine lines? Am I starting to develop fine lines that I can't even see? Like, am I starting, you know, my dad was just looking at a photo of me the other day from when I was 18 and started my public speaking career. And he's like, oh my gosh, look at you on that stage. You look so young. And I was like, oh, really? I look young? Like, it hasn't been that long. And he's like, yeah, like your face just looks younger. And like from 18 to 24, I'm sure you do age, but like I didn't really think about it. I didn't really think that I would have changed that much in the face in terms of like how I look. Half people tell me that they think I look older than I am, and half the people tell me they think I look much younger than I am, and I don't really know what I think. I guess I don't really get an opinion. And that's weird. Like I talk to a lot of my blind girl friends about this a lot, is like we don't form our own opinions of what we look like. We just have to take on everybody else's opinions of what we look like. And that can be really, really hard to form your own sense of style or sense of self or self-esteem and confidence when it's never based on really what you think or feel as much as it is taking to like little pieces of other people's opinions and throwing it together to become your own. That can be like really, really frustrating at times. I talked about this in my like makeup, how I did my makeup in high school video. I used to really like, I was like a little emo kid and I really loved the like dark eyeliner, nude lip kind of look, that like very emo kid look. But my mom hated it and she would tell me, oh, your makeup looks bad. But the reality is if I could see in the mirror, I probably would have thought it looked good. But because she was telling me it looked bad, that was like her personal taste, and wasn't in a mean way. Like my mom's my mirror and I ask her all the time, like, please be honest with me and tell me what you think. I appreciate that she does that, but it doesn't mean that her opinion would be my opinion if I could see. And same with you guys. Like I used to love my straight across blunt bangs, but I got so many comments on videos telling me that it looked really bad, and not in the nicest of ways. I started growing them out, and I probably would still have straight across bangs if a lot of people on YouTube hadn't commented and told me that it looked bad, you know? I didn't get to make that decision for myself because I couldn't look in the mirror and be like, well, I think it looks good. I had to like take on what other people said and be like, oh, okay, well, maybe they're right. And a lot of people were, you know, a lot of people said it in a mean way, but a lot of people also said it in like a way like, hey, just want to be your eyes, just want to be your big sister, your mirror, and let you know, like, I don't think that haircut suits you. It's like, I appreciate that, but it also does make it hard for me because I just don't know. I don't get to make my own decisions. Even, it's weird, like, I feel like my hair is my security blanket. My hair, you can't see it all right now, but I'll insert, like, a photo. My hair is to my butt. I'm about 2 inches away from sitting on it, and it is naturally this straight. I'm scared to cut it. I'm scared to cut my hair, and that sounds so silly, but it's the thing people compliment me on the most. Like, people are always like, oh my god, your hair is so shiny, it's so healthy, it's so thick, like, your hair is so beautiful. And so I feel like now my hair is what makes me beautiful. It's hard for me to separate my hair from me. And I know for a lot of women, like, hair is a security blanket. For a lot of people in general, it is. But I think even more so for me. I think I probably would have cut it shorter a long time ago if it wasn't for how much people tell me. And I've said to people like, oh, I think I'm gonna cut my hair, and they're like, no, you can't, don't do it, don't cut your hair, it's so beautiful. Then I'm like, oh, now in my head it's like this weird idea where like, oh, maybe if I cut it I wouldn't be beautiful. It's because I can't just like look in the mirror and like, you know, show myself like, oh no, you would still be beautiful, like you would still look good. It's really weird because I feel like there's definitely a disconnect with how I picture myself and how I picture other people and the actual reality. And it isn't because I have low self-esteem, it's just because I don't have the visuals. I feel like there's parts of me that have high self-esteem and there's parts of me that have low self-esteem, and I feel like that's very natural. I feel like most of us are like that. There's aspects in our life where we have higher self-esteem and there's aspects where we're more self-conscious of, and that's like a very typical thing. So for me, I feel like it's just heightened by the fact that I don't have like the ability to look in the mirror or to look at other people. For a long time, I used to think I had like a really big nose, which a lot of people tell me I'm like crazy for thinking that, and that I don't at all, and that my nose fits my face. I kind of explain it to people. It's like when you feel your teeth with your tongue in your mouth, they feel huge, and then when they fall out, you're like, wait a second, it's tiny? It's like that. Like I can only ever feel my nose with my finger. It's never in context with the rest of my face. And so for me, just feeling my nose with my tiny little hands, it feels very large. But that's because I'll never like see the bigger picture. And so it might suit my face and it might be small, but I don't know what other people's noses look like, so I can't compare mine to theirs to see like if mine's a normal size or what. And I can't can like see it within the context of my face. Or like my body, it's like I always kind of talk about how I have wider hips and I'm a pear shape, and people are like, Molly, you're tiny, you're really petite. But to me, I just know the measurements. I know my waist is 10 inches smaller than my hips. That's right, my waist is 10 inches smaller than my hips, and I'm short, so that's like a very small, I'm gonna like insert a full body photo here. I just know that there's a 10-inch difference, and people are like, but it doesn't look like there's a 10-inch difference. You look proportioned. It doesn't look like it's that dramatic. And I'm like, but the reality is, I only have the facts, I have the numbers that the measuring tape tells me. I don't have the context of looking in the mirror and seeing like, oh, people are right, they're telling me I don't look like there's that dramatic of a difference. And I agree, it doesn't, or whatever. And so it's really hard for me to piece my body together, to piece what I look like together, to piece what other people might look like together when I'm given descriptions. I feel like there's words that I'm always, like visually descriptive words don't always mean to, like in reality, what they mean in my head. Like words like homely or slim or stocky, like bulky. Those are words that like I've used as describing words to people, and they're like, I don't think that means what you think it means, and they'll like describe it to me, like back to me what it means, and it's like different than what I thought, because I just don't have the visual like ability to look when somebody's like, oh well, he's stocky, and I'm looking at him like, oh, that's what stocky looks like. I'm only ever hearing it as a describing word, not actually seeing it in use at the same time, if that makes sense. So I know there's like a lot of things that I've talked about in this video, again, that like have been touched on probably in other videos, but I just wanted to kind of like, it's just been asked so much lately, especially, that I feel like I just want to come down and talk to you guys about it, because it is something I think about a lot. It is something that definitely, it frustrates me as a blind person, and I know it frustrates a lot of my girlfriends who are blind that are also very into makeup and fashion. The idea that, you know, our own self-identity and our own interests are really built based on a lot of other people's opinions, more so than our own, and like how my opinion might differ if I was sighted. Like, it kind of screws with my head sometimes. And just, you know, I'd love to know what I actually look like. Not just have to listen to other people's opinions of like, oh, you should cut your hair, you should grow your hair, you don't look good in that, you look better in this. Like, I wish I could just look in the mirror and be like, I love my hair. Ooh, I think I look good in this, so even if you don't, I do, and that's what matters. Like, I just wish I could have my own opinions a little more than I can, and you might be like, well, you can, but like, no, I can't. It's not the same. It's not the same. And I feel like maybe some of the stuff I've talked about will get like misconstrued, or I don't know, like, because I just know it's hard for people to understand. It is. I know you won't get it, and people will be like, well, just do it, girl. Like, do what you want. Do what feels right. But that's not the world we live in. That's not the reality, you know? I want to look my best. I want to present my best. It's just weird. It's just weird not knowing what you look like sometimes. And it can be hard. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. So if you're blind and watching this and you relate to this, I know, I feel you. It's not always easy, but it's not like it's something I focus on 24/7. Like, I'm not constantly thinking like, what do I look like? Oh my God, do I look okay? Although I do definitely like ask my mom more often. Sometimes she's like, Molly, stop. Like, you look good. And I'm like, okay, but I just don't feel like I look good today. And I can't see in the mirror to look and be like, well, yeah, I don't feel like I look good, but I actually do. So you're my mirror, and like, I need the reassurance today, just like we all do sometimes. It's just different, you know? Just like the rest of the way I live my life. It's just different, and it can be difficult, and it can also be a pro. It can work for me sometimes. Sometimes I feel like I'm less self-conscious, and I'm more open to like wearing crazy clothes that everybody wouldn't necessarily be comfortable wearing, or I'm more expressive with my face because I can't see what it looks like. I don't know. I could ramble on for hours about this topic, you guys. There's so much I could say. I feel like I've already been so discombobulated, and this is like a classic old school Molly rambles video, but I don't know, you guys are my peeps, and I just wanted to sit down with you and talk about it. If you guys have any more questions that you don't feel like were answered in this video, or I like touched on something briefly, but you want to know more in depth about it, like, comment down below, let me know, and I'm totally willing to make a follow-up video to this one and chat about it some more, because I don't know, I do think it's an interesting topic. I think it's an interesting concept, and it definitely is something not very many people in the world can relate to or understand. So I'm trying my best to help you. Hopefully it worked. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you learned something new or found any little bit of this interesting, give it a big old thumbs up, hit that notification bell, hit the subscribe button to join the fam jam, and I'm gonna see you guys very, very soon.